Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I just wanted to go over a overview of what I'm doing now 4.5 months later, starting the carnivore diet. And I did start the carnivore diet for health related reasons, for ulcerative colitis and other things like that. I was a raw vegan, mostly raw, before since I was a teenager, so it had been a long time and I haven't gone on meat since then, so it was a big change and I had to learn a lot of things, just how to think about food differently and, you know, just learn a completely new diet, a new lifestyle, and new kind of like mental things that came along with it. So the first 3 months were probably the most difficult for me because I was fluctuating a lot. One day I would feel good and the next day I would, you know, be in the dumps again. And it was probably the hardest thing because I was trying to heal the ulcerative colitis naturally, and I had a problem with bleeding as well. So the first 3 months were pretty strict, and I didn't eat anything raw or fruits or vegetables except blueberries, and then everything was eggs, meats, and fermented vegetables, raw milk, yogurt, and that was primarily it. But then after 3 months, I found that I was having some cravings. I was starting to feel a lot stronger, and I wasn't having like those blackouts and super weak feelings anymore. The mood swings and the bouts of kind of very low mental, emotional states, I was having less and less of those. Even still today, 4.5 months later, I do still have them sometimes, but I'm learning how to get over them. Like, I'm having the mental strength to kind of go forward and think about things differently so then I don't go into that hole again. During the first 3 months, I did try raw meat because I watched all these stuff saying that it's good, and I tried, like, I couldn't even swallow it. It just, I don't know, maybe it was too early for me to try, but I couldn't do it. So I did actually have a little bit kind of like half raw meat, and I found out that I broke out a lot in acne, especially like here around the mouth. And so I just like, that's it. I'm not going to be doing that. I can be having the cooked meat, and it's just fine like that. So from when I started to what I am now, I did gain about 15 pounds of weight, and 4.5 months later, now I am starting to do things to help me lean out. So I did start exercising a lot more regularly. I was doing low impact HIIT exercise that I have, but I did low impact because my joints click and then also my knees grind. I also started a ab routine. It's like 10 minutes abs that I really enjoy doing, and then also a skipping. Skipping was a huge thing because it really helped kind of, I don't know, it just like elevated my whole well-being with skipping or jump rope. And that really helped me with my muscles a lot. I mean, a lot, to rebuild my muscles in my feet and my legs. And because when I first started that jump rope, I did about 4 days and I was just disabled after that. I could hardly walk. I was in such pain. And then maybe like 5 days or a week passed, I started it again, and then I found I was good. So I was so happy to continue with the skipping. And then because I heard that the jump rope really helps with rebuilding the bones, so I really need that. I was having really bad sugar cravings, hence I was eating a lot of the honey, but I felt okay with it because of the antibiotics and getting rid of the bad bacteria. So, but from that I had other cravings like chocolate, so I did allow myself to have some dark chocolate. I first started with the sourdough bread, and that is the primary place I think that I gained weight from. And then from that I started carb cycling. I figured out that depending on your body type, I had a body type that was easy to put on weight. So I did about 2 days of just without the breads or the honey, and then 1 day I would stack up on the carbs, and I went like that for a while, and that really helped me kind of get off of that bread. And even though it's not bad, but it kind of throws me off of the diet. In the evening, to avoid snacking, I would have a tea with coconut oil, and the tea was the Pu'er Yunnan tea, which has been aged for like 8 years, and hence that's why I tried it, because I wanted like a boost from a caffeine source, and that thing, I didn't have any adverse side effects from it. So I'd have that tea in the evening with some raw milk, and then a tablespoon of coconut oil, and that just helped me a lot to not snack in the evenings. During the time of the carb cycling, I was also juicing, so I would have fresh juices in the morning on an empty stomach, and that helped me as well. So what happened, I ended up kind of transitioning to a more ketogenic diet because I was having cravings for like the fresh things for the juice that I started, and then after I had cucumbers and apples, probably the two main fresh things I have, and also a green salad in the evening. I do have that with some baked fish. So pretty much my diet now is raw food plus eggs and fish, and that's kind of where I'm staying at and I feel comfortable at. Another thing that has been really helpful for the cravings and for overeating and for just feeling like I'm more in control with this diet is the first meal of the day, whether that is noon or 2 or 3 or whatever, whenever I eat it, is having 4 boiled eggs with 2 oranges, and that is just, that, I don't know, it's like, it's a wonderful thing because it fills me up and I don't have constipation from that, and I just have so much energy and I feel good, like I have happy hormones from that food, and it helps me not to overeat and snack in the evening. That is like one of my greatest tips right now. Now that we're done the diet, on the mental side, it's quite different, like I said, to do with the mood and emotions, and just feeling much more kind of strong in your mindset and much more sure, less restlessness and I don't know what I'm doing with my life or what's the purpose of life, and those kinds of, less of that, because I'm able to focus now more on daily things and doing things in the day that I like to do or that inspire me or that bring me joy. And I'm able to let go of things easier. You know, things that I have my mind set on, there's not, the fear is less. The fear that of letting go is lessened. But when I stop jump roping or I stop specifically the diet and I eat more carbs, I kind of go back to the emotional unstableness. I definitely am able to forget the past and not live in the past, not live in regrets or thoughts of the past, because I have more strength in my body and my mind to live in the now, if that makes sense. Also, not live in the future, because I had a tendency either to think of the past or think of what's going to happen in the future and plan for the future, but those things don't always turn out, or when it's time, I'm not ready for those things anymore, or something changed that I can't do those things anymore. So instead of just always focusing on the future, I try to take one day at a time and just appreciate the things in a day. These days I am, I guess, more busy from when I was raw vegan, because when I was raw vegan, I focused a lot of my life on food, and so I was hungry a lot of the time, so I'd be eating throughout the day a lot, and then I'd have that up and down blood sugar levels. So I guess I don't focus as much on food at all anymore, especially now that I can go longer time without having that drop in blood sugar and without, you know, feeling like I have to eat something or that I'm craving something, especially, you know, from the baked fish and the eggs, and then just having the fresh like apples and then the fresh salad during the day. And that is, I think that is like the kind of my goal diet to stay on. And I think if I were to stay on that, then I could, you know, get the more lean body mass. And so that's what I'm kind of focusing on right now. And here's just another example. I used to put a lot of energy into focusing on doing one thing, and I kind of blocked out the rest of the things just so I can focus and get this one thing done. And until I was done, I couldn't rest, and I couldn't take a breath, and I couldn't enjoy other things during that time. But now it's quite different, where I can stop, which I never was able to do. If I have something to do, I'm like, I just have to do this, and until it's done, I can't rest, and that would like be so draining on my energy and on my, like, you know, just like mental state and emotion. It would be very draining to do that, because sometimes things would take me days. So all the energy would be spent during the days, and then I would crash, and then I would binge. But now I'm able to stop it, go do other things that need to be done at that time, and not be stressed about that I'm not doing those other things. You know, I don't want to leave other things in life that are also good things just because I'm busy doing something, and I'm not going to let that thing take 3 days of my life and everything else is like last priority because I want to get this thing done. It's much more stable now, and I know that I will have the energy and the mental strength and the motivation and inspiration to do that in the future. Whereas before I wasn't sure if I would be in the same state that I am at that moment. Okay, this last category is I was able to overcome things like now. Like, I mean, everything with mental is more now. 4.5 months later. First 3 months were very up and down still. I'm able to overcome things that used to annoy me and that were there for a long time, and I didn't have like the strength to fix them. Even they were minor things, but I saw them every day, and they made me feel that I am powerless. They made me feel that I don't have control over my life or my circumstances around me. So just to be able to address those things and overcome them makes me have more confidence and makes me not feel like I am not in control. For example, I have a lot of clothes. When I was in high school, someone told me that I have too many clothes. I was like, what can I say? Is there such thing as having too many clothes? Whatever, but I don't think that's true. Not just that I wasn't wearing those clothes, but that I was saving those clothes for a future event or a future date that never really came. or a future body more like it that never really came. Because when I was in the vegan raw food, I was always thinking that I'm going to be this weight soon, like a lower weight soon, and then I can wear those jeans or that shirt. So I always had them, but I never wore them. Now I was able to let go of a lot of clothes that I had when I was super skinny, and I could fit those things, right? But I was holding on to them, thinking of the future, that I'm going to fit them in the future, that I'm going to get there in the future. And that I'm never going to dress nice now because I'm always thinking of the future. It's a bad mental state, and it's like stressing. So I did end up, which is a major thing for me, letting go of a lot of those clothes that I couldn't fit anymore. So I was able to give them away. And it feels much better because now you can focus on your daily life, and you can focus on looking nice or dressing nice now. You know, it's not like you're always going to be thinking, oh, one day I'm going to be this weight and I'm going to get there, and then I'm going to wear nice clothes, and then I'm going to try and, you know, make an effort. And I can think about things more clearly and figure them out, and I can overcome them, and I feel much better. I feel more confident. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm not in control or have no control or power. And the ways that I used to think before that would get me down and that would make me feel rotten about myself is I'm kind of changing those mental habitual thoughts. I'm doing that now. Like, this is, you know, probably at 5 months I'll be doing it. It's such a gradual process, but this is kind of what's happening. And I really do account it for the fact that I have started, since I was a teenager, started eating meat again. Hands down, definitely, that what has been helping me so much. So that is my long update about my journey. And, you know, I don't feel bad that I'm not strictly carnivore anymore. I don't feel bad that I'm not raw or vegan anymore or any of that, because we all have our own journeys, we have our own bodies, and we do what we feel is right for ourselves. We have our own inner guidance that leads us to what is right for ourselves. And if someone tells you, you're this body type, this is what's right for you, not everything there might be right for you. So you have to kind of slowly integrate it, see if it works. If not, move on. You know, that's all I have to say. Thank you again for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, or if you can relate to anything, I would love to hear what you have to say. Please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
For me? Can we get toys for me?
You want to get toys?
Yes.
Come. What toys do you want to get?
I want to get this toy.
All right.